Hey guys, it's SJ. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm SJ. My children are 9, 6 and 3. So I'm a mum who absolutely loves reading as much as I can about gentle parenting and positive discipline. It's something I've done the whole kind of nearly 10 years that I've been a mum, but I'm really trying to read as much as I can because I'm finding it harder and harder. I've got to be honest. 3 kids, it's a lot of parenting in the day, and I'm a full-time mum now, so I guess I kind of also miss that work bit where I didn't have to like tell anyone what to do. So I thought I would just go to the pointy end today and talk about mornings. I have been looking for miracles. I'm looking for a miracle, I'm not going to underplay it, that will kind of flip the mornings around because they're so important. I think for us more than even the children. Like if I have a bad morning with my children, it really brings me down and it makes me less productive. It makes me, the mum guilt piles in, you know, all that good stuff that we like to do to ourselves as mums. So yeah, keep watching if you want 3 miracle morning mood flips from positive discipline and gentle parenting that I promise will literally transform your mornings with your kids. Please do hit subscribe if you'd like more in this series, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and say hi in the comments below. So my number 1 top tip is a weird one. All of these are a little bit weird, but it is a total miracle mind flip for the morning, and it's worked so well for me. And that is to try to get yourself out of manager mum mode. Like I feel like I wake up in the morning and straight away from about 3 o'clock that morning I've probably been thinking about all the stuff that I have to do before getting out the door, whether that is that I'm got a newborn and I'm just trying to get to a playgroup or see some friends, have a bit of adult conversation and I'm knackered, whether that was when I had to leave my really young children and go back to work full time. I was always a full-time working mum until recently with my third, or with my third now my 2 boys are at school, so I'm a school mum, and it's even worse. Why are there so many forms? Why? So I'm always in this manager mum mode, and sometimes I'm even telling the children all my to-do list. They don't care, and then we get frustrated quickly by the lack of cooperation, the slowness, the lack of listening, and sometimes a general lack of enthusiasm. Like we expect them to have almost an adult's ability to put a smile on it and greet us nicely, and they don't. So the mind flip is to think of your children, however many you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think of them as empty buckets. They are emotionally empty buckets. Every morning that they wake up, they are a blank page, and our job, just as important and if not even more important than getting them out the door on time with all the kit, is to fill up their emotional bucket. So if you have read the book Have You Filled a Bucket Today, it's a kids book, and this is where this kind of idea got into my mind, and it works so well in the morning because they come to you and you think, right, for the next hour I'm going to ignore any of the behaviour unless it's, you know, something terrible. If it's just the whinging, the whining, the complaining, the refusing to eat certain breakfast foods, all that kind of stuff, just think that behaviour is okay. That is morning appropriate behaviour. I'm not here to start punishing, to start setting consequences that I then have to pick up after school again. Just don't do any of that. To think that that's all happening under the surface, under my calm swan-like surface, and what I'm doing is filling up you with love, with friendship, with care, with understanding and listening. And if you start pouring that into their bucket, the security of home, that's when they can start giving that out again. So every single morning they're an empty emotional bucket, and they're not going to have anything to give. There's no reserves there for them to display this wonderful child behaviour that we would love. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, that's okay, but what we are there to do is fill up their emotional bucket from 0. So I think that's my only job this morning. It is as important as the forms, I promise you. Sorry school if you're watching, I will pay for that thing that I need to pay for and fill in that form. It is all about filling up their emotional bucket, and I literally love this mind flip. It helps me so much every single morning. So the second thing really is a tip, but it's a lot of hows. So I feel like I'm always thinking like there's a nice philosophy here, but I've missed the how. I want just the practical stuff. So yeah, this is the how. And physical touch is something I've read that is so important for any child before they go off on any type of separation, so before we say goodbye. So I'm always sneakily trying to just rub their back, skin to skin time, ruffle their hair. It doesn't have to be that you're on full-on embrace for 10 minutes before school. Obviously you will give them a cuddle and a kiss as you say goodbye, but as much as you can bring in the physical touch, and psychologically it is so important, particularly for our children and particularly before a separation. So I find that really interesting and one that really helps. and positive words. So I've done a couple of videos before about how to speak positively, little positive phrases you can slip into every day that really, really help. And in the morning, the best one I've found works is, I'm making you your favourite. So think about all the jobs you're doing and just add on the extra bit of kindness that you are doing that's going to fill up their emotional bucket. So yes, I'm making you toast with butter, but I'm not just making you toast with butter, I am making you your absolute favourite because you deserve it. And just saying that suddenly really changes what you were going to do anyway into a real exercise of emotional well-being for your child. And the last one is all about attachment play. So attachment play is a really, really great technique and an amazing book that teaches you how to flip any issue or conflict into a game. So we often have worries walking to school. Could be a time when, as they're leaving the door, there's a lot of drama. We went for a real tough time with this with one of my children. It was so bad. So I created a game which was the points game. So every time we saw, it was a bit Truman Show, the same man walking his dog, the same woman going for a run, the same bread van dropping off at the shop, we got a number of points. And he loved the game so much. It was a bit of an older game, but it can just be how many yellow cars you see. And then it's not, we are now going to school, it's let's go outside and play our game now. And again, that positive flip. So any type of issue you're having, really sit down and write a little game. The important thing for the game is that often they're in charge of the game. It's something they are doing that puts them in power, and that's a really lovely thing for a child to have. The other thing I like to do on the way to school, give them conversational tips that they can use when they are at school or when they're at nursery. Like, oh, didn't you have fun yesterday when you were really bounced high on the trampoline? You can tell a teacher about that, and that really gives them something to look forward to and a bit of positive news, because it's hard. That's a technique you have to learn as an adult, how to tell them what you did over the weekend. You know, did nothing, and how to start a conversation off. You know, it's really difficult for a child. So giving them little tips and conversational starting points is a really, really good way of having a really, really positive morning for them, and they'll thank you for it later and they'll go off so happy. So basically giving them the tools to have a good morning without you when you're not there. You're making their time so much easier, and it makes that transition so much easier, and they'll start to look forward to not going into school having to sit and listen to everything I've got to do, but to tell my friends that I did that really cool flip on the trampoline, and allowing them to have that little transition so much easier, and it makes the morning so much more positive overall. So those are my little miracle morning mind flips. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know your ideas below. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and stick around for the next one in the series. I'll link all the previous ones below, and I'll speak to you soon. Lots of love, everyone. Bye bye.